Yes! Good morning! Hello! Welcome to yet another fantastic, rambunctious, superfluous episode of Redstone Lapis Lazuli. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo. And check it out, I really am here. Wait, there it is, see? Hey, good morning America. Non-copyrighted, whatever. Yeah, good morning, hello. So yeah, welcome to my show. I'll adjust the sound a little bit. Okay, welcome to my base. I made a few upgrades. Put a carpet in, finally, a carpet. Yay, a carpet. And I fixed that janky door to be like a better fitting door. It's not so bad anymore. And I got rid of those torches that were like everywhere. I mean, there's still torches, but not as many. And yeah, I needed to do some work, so I have a little bit of workstations here. But yeah, here's my base. But that's not the main thing, right? Like that's pretty nice, and that's pretty nice, all right. But really, what's up is when you turn around. Oh, what is that? Yes, this is the automatic potion maker. The automatic potion maker. So right here you have the start button, start brewing. Here's where you load up the water bottles. You have to manually load up the water bottles. Here's where the potions are deposited once they're finished. So the way this works is you come through and you look, there's all these different ingredients. Nether wart, sugar, magma cream, glistening melon, golden carrot, spider eye, puffer fish, fermented spider eye, membrane, phantom membrane, and then I need more. And then you have your additives, because you can add things to your potion. So there's glowstone or redstone to lengthen the duration. You have gunpowder to make it splash, so it goes instead of just drinking it. And then you have glowstone, which is used to heighten the effect of what it is that you're making. So you cannot put glowstone and redstone, or redstone and glowstone together in a potion. You can only either make it last longer or be stronger effect. You can't do both. So yeah, what you do is you pop in the ingredients, and then the machine will automatically brew. So here, let's demonstrate. You need always nether wart. And then suppose I want to make a healing potion. So that's glistening melon. And I want this potion to to be strong. Maybe I can put in glowstone. I don't know. I don't have my recipe list here, so I don't really know if I can do this. But let's try. Let's see if this works. Okay, and then you hit the start button, and then right now there's water bottles, but we're gonna clear those out. And then put in new water bottles. And it will start brewing. All the things are loaded in already in the proper order. Clear out these water bottles. Put them back in the system. Yeah, and then you just hang out. You do a little dance, sing a little song, and the potion brews itself. So the awkward potion is made. Now it adds the glistening melon, which will turn it into a healing potion of instant health. So that will grant you instant health if you are hurting. And then you add the glowstone dust, and what's that going to do to this instant health? What's it going to do? It makes it into instant health too. It heals even more. So it's a stronger health potion. Yay! And yeah, then we can reset the system. And that's how it works. I don't have to pay attention now. I can just let it do its thing, and then press the button for the next group of stuff that I want to brew. So that's pretty nice. I made the floor out of regular stone brick and then this black stone brick, which I like. Blackstone. Blackstone's great. I really like it. And then the light is from shroom lights. Shroomin' lights. Woo! Shroom lights. I like shroom lights. They're fun. It's a nice new texture. I put it in the back here. Oh yeah, here, let's go look at the back. The back. So the design was by Rogue Fox. He's the guy who I found the video from. It's like the oldest video of this design. And it works pretty good. Here, let me move some of this shroom light so you can see. Okay, so we can see it better. How the system works. So you flip the levers. The levers are going to light up these repeaters. Here, I'm going to turn on one of them. Turn on this one here. So you select the ingredient. The ingredient lights up the repeaters, which turns off this torch. It turns off the torch. Which means this is not powered. Or this is powered. This is powered, and it extends it. See, it extends the it extends the piston. So when you press the button, so now all these pistons are extended. You see, they're all turned on by default. And they're going to stay on no matter what because there's a torch underneath. So, but not this one. This one doesn't have a torch on. All these other ones have a torch on it. So they're being powered from two directions. From the torch underneath and from this redstone line. Ta-da-da-da. But this one has its torch powered off. So if this one also gets unpowered, then this piston's going to retract and pull back. Okay. This system is hooked up to this comparator that's reading the smooth stone inside the dropper. So what happens is you press this button over here, which shoots power into this dropper, which shoots the stone up into the hopper. But the hopper doesn't go anywhere. It's pointed straight down. So it goes up in one tick and then goes back down the next tick. So what that does is that flashes this comparator. For a second, the comparator doesn't read anything there. So it'll turn off, which turns off this whole line. Now, and turns off all these repeaters. They all get turned off. They all get turned off. But this one's powered off also. You know, everything else is powered by the second torch underneath, except for this one. So what that means is for a second, this piston is unpowered and it retracts, it pulls back for a second and then pushes back forward. Well, that pulls back the barrel containing your ingredients. So for a second, the barrel is going to drop one item into the hopper. And then it's going to get pushed back. And then this is going to move down and feed into the brewing stand, and everything else will also follow in line. But because this guy is first and has the shortest delay, he's got the awkward potion is good, or the nether wart will get there first, and it's always the first one. It has to be the first one to make a potion. And then yeah, your potion gets brewed. And then this other redstone line turns off this hopper, or locks this hopper and unlocks this hopper for a second. So what happens is that lets the potions there fall into the chest, and this guy is locked until this guy is finished. Then when the redstone is done, this will let 3 new bottles into the system, so it automatically flushes it out. So it works nice. You can make a lot of potions really easy. I just got to fill up the ingredients. So there's that. That's pretty neat. I like that. I dig it. The other thing I made here. Let's go through the door and into the Nether. Wah, the Nether is now. There's another train line. The witch farm. All right, let's go look at the witch farm. I haven't named it anything fancy yet, but yeah. So yeah, there's my train station, and we go along the Nether line. Now, this was really hard to make, this Nether line, because it goes into Soul Sand Valley. And there are all sorts of bad things that spawn here, like skeletons, which will shoot you, and what else? Ghasts, which will blow up my rail tracks. It makes me very upset. But I had to go in this direction in order to get to the next station. Whoa, boom. So yeah, I made this little place out of blackstone. I like it. I like this blackstone stuff. And then the shroom lights. Look at the shroom lights, dude. I love shroom lights. If you go out here, yeah, it's the crimson biome, which is, you know, pretty spiffy here. I like this stuff. This stuff can be wood, and then you get your shroom lights, which are fun. But the problem is it's dangerous. Everything wants to kill you. Like these guys want to kill me. Everything is trying to kill you here in the Nether. Like everything. So yeah, I had to make a safe house inside the Nether. Okay, and then this is a new portal. Where does it go? Where does this portal go? Oh, look! It's a new contraption. It's a contraption. This says here, Trident killer off and on. This says witch indicator light. Okay, and then there's an item sorter, and then you get glowstone and redstone dust. What's going on here? Well, let me turn this thing on. So we're high above the ground here. And let's go take a look. What's happening? So there's a base up there, a structure, and you got some redstone lines. You got a redstone line going from the bottom, and it goes all the way up. You got this thing, which sends a signal from there all the way down. And then you have this water elevator, which goes from the bottom, goes all the way back up to the item sorter. You have a creeper, which could blow up everything. Okay. So this used to be a witch hut. It still is a witch hut. It's just been heavily modified. So yeah, we're in a swamp. We're in a swamp biome, and witches live in swamps, and they have a witch hut. And I took this witch hut and I really wrecked it. You know, I had to bend it to my will. It took a long time. Oh man, it was painful. But basically, this is a witch hut, and witches spawn in this witch hut. And what? Oh crap. Well, crap. I'll get that. So they spawn the only place to spawn would be like in this location here, on that brick. So they'll spawn there, but there's a tripwire. So as soon as they spawn in, they hit the tripwire, which makes the piston, pushes them out into my trident killer, the trap underneath, waiting for them. There's all these other bricks here, because you have to spiders will spawn, and you don't want spiders to be in here. Oh, I gotta go fix this. I don't have enough. I broke too much. Damn it. Anyways, so spiders die instantly, and witches get pushed into the trident killer. Oh, I don't have any down here. Man, I gotta go back up here. So the trident killer will kill the witches and then push their drops up the item elevator. So yeah, the item elevator brings their items all the way back to the top. Where they're processed. Oh, are you telling me I don't have any more? Oh, I don't. Oh man, that's awful. I have to go get more. Well, I have to close it up for now. I don't have any more magma blocks here. But they won't spawn if there's light coming in, so they're for temporary. Alright, so you can't look in there, right? It has to be dark in order for witches to spawn. Like all monsters, witches only spawn in the dark. So in order to know if a witch has spawned, I put this witch indicator light. Whenever a witch spawns and trips the tripwire, it'll send a signal up and flash this light. Hold on, looting sword. That way I know if the system's working. Like if witches will spawn. Like right now there's nothing happening, but as soon as a witch spawns, it'll flash. The reason why I'm up so high is to block all the other spawns. Like I'm in a swamp biome, and yeah, things spawn, monsters spawn, and they take up the cap. You can only have so many monsters alive at one time. Oh, it just flashed, which means a witch spawned. It got pushed into the trident killer, and its drops are gonna come up here, so we just gotta wait for them. There's a little bit of lag. Oh yeah, yes, there's the experience. Now, if you're redstone or glowstone, you get put into the item filter. But if you're anything else, you get dropped onto the cactus and disseminated, or discombobulated, destroyed. Yeah. So there, a witch was spawned. We wait for the trident killer to kill the witch. The witch will drop its items. The items get pushed into a item filter, and there it goes. Experience points comes up. No items, huh? Well, eventually it'll drop some items. So all you do is you AFK here. Like, go do other stuff. Leave your computer running, and it'll get you redstone and glowstone dust. I like glowstone dust because you can make glowstone out of it. And glowstone is great. Instead of mining it from the nether, I just have it. Oh, see, there's the things I don't want, like the glass bottle, gets deposited on there. Things I do want get kept. So yeah, I like this system. It works really, really good. It's like a new farm for me. And let me tell you, it was really hard to make, to get the witches to spawn. Once I figured it out, then yeah, it was great. And this design is by a guy named Bedrock Builder. His design worked pretty good. I didn't have to make a giant perimeter. I didn't have to dig out a giant hole. It just works out. See, monsters spawn everywhere now. Oh man. What's up, dude? Come on, Enderman. Come on, come on! Show me your power! That's right. Oh, I'm gonna die. Yeah, I'm not wearing badass armor. I'm wearing my elytra. So I'm not so strong or resilient. I can fly, but I'm not resilient. Fly. So that's how that farm works. Look, there's ice everywhere. What's up with that? A pattern of torches. So yeah, I mean, like, it's pretty nice. I can hang out in the secure base. I can block all the other spawns except for witches. I can kill the witches automatically. I'll see them. I don't see the witches themselves, but I see an indicator of them, which is close enough. Right? I don't need to see every witch. I don't need to see which clothes they're wearing or what hat they're wearing today. Like, all I need to know is that they're there and that they'll die, so they can give me their stuff. Like, or the stuff I don't want gets destroyed. Man, this works out great. It's like a no stress farm. I don't have to listen to the pistons killing the witches. I don't have to listen to anything. I just hang out in my little place, little box in the sky. Yay! While I process bad things. Okay, so hey, let's start processing bad things, like and transform them into good things, right? That's you know, that's kind of what the body does. It takes the bad things, it eliminates the waste, and it processes out the good stuff and keeps the good stuff. So as a human, I guess that's what you can do. You can fractalize that idea and say, sure, humans take in the bad stuff, but then they process it to put out good stuff. And knowledge is good stuff. Knowledge is good stuff. Knowledge is different than information. Information by itself is just raw. It's just a bunch of raw things with no context, with no relations, with mapped out, no anything. It's just raw information. In order to transform, it takes work. It takes labor to take this raw information and process it and turn it into something that human minds can eat. that means something to a human. You have to put it into context, and you have to show it in relation to other knowledge so that you can build ideas out of it. So these scientists aren't just a bunch of lazy people doing nothing. It takes a lot of work in order to transform raw information into knowledge. And look how good these rates are. I mean, like, yeah, you get a bunch of crap that you can't use, like sugar and glass bottles, but at the same time, it happens. Like, these witches spawn like all the time. It's great. I love it. It's great. So yeah, so scientists work really hard to take raw information and process it and to produce knowledge. And knowledge is what feeds your brain and makes you smart. Knowledge is what you want. Raw information doesn't do anything if it's just raw information. You have to process it. You have to work it. You have to work with it and make it into something. Make it into a building block. Knowledge is a building block, conceptual building block. So you got to know what's going on in the world. And oh, I forgot to do this part. Let me just grab one of them. So I follow I don't have her name with me right now, but I follow a nice person on Twitter who is focused on not only knowledge but the other side of knowledge. So that sure, you can have knowledge, but then you can also poison that knowledge with bad information. So that the raw information you get to process is poison, it's bad. So anything you make out of that bad information, you're gonna have bad conclusions, which is the opposite of knowledge. You can't build anything out of it because whatever you build is corrupted, because the knowledge, the information you got was bad. The raw information was bad. So that raw information, bad raw information, is called disinformation. So I was telling you about how we're in a new kind of warfare. It's a different kind of warfare. It's been kind of going on forever, the paradigm. But nowadays, with the internet and the emphasis on information, the speed at which it propagates, it takes on a new dimension. Misinformation is a significant danger for our country, because we have an open democratic society in which these ideas are supposed to be debated. We're supposed to have these ideas and share these ideas to see what are the crap ideas and what are the good ideas. Like, you have to test these things to see how they're doing. Because nobody has the full picture. Nobody. You can try to run around as much as you can to get a better idea, but even then you cannot have the full picture, because your perspective is always coming from just one point, which is unique, and that's why it's special. It's unique. No one can have your perspective. There's nobody can have it. But at the same time, you can't have anyone else's perspective. Like, it's really hard. You have to be able to use your imagination and move your consciousness over to that perspective. And even then, you're only borrowing it. You don't have the full picture. Like, you only get an indication, right? You can't get the whole idea. You can't get the full picture. You only get an indication of what it is. So bad actors, Russia, bad actors are using their military and their money and their energy to purposely spread bad information. And when people take this information and they don't understand it's bad, they eat it. And then they process it and they come to conclusions. But the conclusions they come to are wrong. They're bad. Because the information you ate was bad. You can't have good conclusions out of bad information. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen. You have to work to make sure that the information you eat is good, so that the knowledge you get out of it is good knowledge. So this idea here is to help stop misinformation, because misinformation is like a virus. All it wants to do is spread and make more of itself. That's all it wants to do. That's its goal, to make more of itself, make more copies of itself. So if you know something's wrong, remember, like a virus, misinformation has a hook. You know how the coronavirus has hooks, protein hooks to grab onto cells to infect them better? The same thing with misinformation. It has emotional hooks. The whole point of misinformation is to get you to engage with it. Touch it. Please touch me. And it uses all sorts of here, I can even stand over here and just grab the experience, but I'd rather not. Let me hang out over here. It has all sorts of hooks to make you engage with it and touch it. It doesn't matter, like, if you're going to disprove it, or if you're going to tell the person they're bad. They don't care if you tell them they're bad. They don't care. They don't care if you try to disprove it, because if you touch it, you're automatically spreading it. It's like a germ. So the first thing you have to do is to not engage with information out of emotion. Because if you rage tweet something, if you're like, you're so wrong, you're such a bad person, well, you're engaging with it and you're giving energy to this misinformation. And when misinformation has more energy, more energetic, it's going to propagate more. And that's you don't want it to spread. If it's bad information, you don't want it to spread. Trump is a perfect example of this. Donald is, all he does is spread misinformation. Everything he tweets out is a lie. Everything. But the way he packages it is that people can't help but retweet him. If only to call him stupid. They'll say, oh, look at this thing Trump said. Look how dumb he is. Ha. Look at how he misspelled something. Ha ha ha. Let's all retweet Trump about how he misspelled something and made fun of him. Do you think Trump cares? No. What you've done is help Trump. You've helped Donald by retweeting his bad tweet. It doesn't matter if you misspelled something. You got his idea to spread out more. Like, remember what I told you about the astral plane? You know, the astral plane is a void. There's nothing there, literally nothing there, except points of light that have relations to each other. The only way these points of light have any life whatsoever, you know, the void is cold, it's dark, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. The only way these points of light get any kind of life, any kind of reality to them, is if a human grabs them and uses their body to bring them into the material world. The only way Trump's misinformation spreads throughout the world is if humans use their energy, use their bodies to literally copy it and make it spread throughout the world. If you don't make it spread, it will never leave the void. It never leaves the astral plane. It never gets projected into the material world. Just don't engage with it. Don't spread it. Don't even point to it to laugh at the misspelling, because the misspelling is a hook to get you to copy it. That's the whole point. Like a virus. If you know something is fake, don't repost it. If you know Donald is spreading lies, don't repost Donald. Don't retweet his post. Don't do it. Or if you do it, take a screenshot of it so that the original post doesn't get any hits. Like, this is warfare, right? This is information warfare. It's different from the warfare that most Americans have been conditioned to accept, to understand warfare. This is a different kind of warfare. It's a war for your mind. So, yeah, Molly McHugh, she's great. I listened to a podcast with her. She's awesome. Molly McHugh. Okay, the other misinformation thing. This one. No, I went to do like this. No, I meant to do like this. And then with this, I was gonna drag it over here. And then now I can go like this, easy. Oh, easy. No, wait. Ha ha ha. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the intent is to achieve a digital disruption as well as a psychological subversion. Beyond disrupting the ability of communication, for example, another critical component of a successful information warfare campaign is to disorient, delegitimize, and discredit the adversary, and demoralize the will of the opponent using hostile content and hostile code. So they have to look at humans as computers. Human brains take in information from our senses, use our brains to process this information, and then direct our meat machine to act on the world. So Donald Trump, perfect example of a mind virus. It's a virus. He tweets out some BS. He uses emotional hooks and misspellings to get liberals to retweet him, which they do. They do it to make fun of him, but he doesn't care. His goal is to get them to spread his tweet, which they do. And his tweet is bad code. It's bad information. It's all lies, but they retweet it. They copy it. And this, what his tweets do is disorient their bad information. They delegitimize. He calls the media all fake and all fake stories and all hoaxes and everything else. And discredit. He says, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. And his goal is to demoralize the will of the opponent. He wants Americans to feel bad so that they give up on the idea of America. Because remember, America is an idea. America is an idea. And we have to use our bodies to take that idea and make it real. Just like love. Just like what Chuck Tingle says. Chuck Tingle is great. Listen to Chuck Tingle. Chuck Tingle says, love is real. Prove love. Prove that love is real. So America is the same thing. America, this idea that you can have a country of free people who use justice and truth to make a better world, you know, that's a great idea. You have to prove it. You have to make it real, because there's forces who want to say, no, this is a fake idea. The only idea that's real is power. The only thing that matters is power. And that truth and justice and liberty don't matter. It's only power. Oh, those are your enemies. So, yeah, Trump is a fascist. He's a person who doesn't believe in truth or justice or love or liberty. He doesn't believe in any of that. He believes in power for Donald Trump. So yeah, how else does this manifest? How does this manifest? Okay, so you got Donald Trump as an idea of information warfare. But what else do you got? Well, there's this idea spreading around that voter fraud is an idea to delegitimize American democracy by saying that the vote is all rigged. I mean, it is rigged, but not in the way you think. So Donald Trump wants to delegitimize the vote, make the whole thing say, oh, it's not legitimate. The whole vote is not legitimate. In fact, that's what Donald Trump was gonna say when he lost the 2016 election, because he lost it. The only way he won was cheating, well, basically cheating with the electoral college system, and cheating, with help with the Russians through disinformation and hacking. They hacked oh man, okay, let me get into that later. Okay, so the story that's spread by certain media outlets is that voter fraud is a thing, but voter fraud is not a thing. There is no voter fraud. Remember, Donald Trump made a commission to study voter fraud. Donald Trump was saying, oh yeah, Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes from voter fraud. No, she didn't. He just made that up. He had no evidence whatsoever. He just used his platform as president to spread misinformation. So he set up a committee to study voter fraud, right? But really, that's not what he's about, because he has no proof. So you can't study something that's not there. but he went ahead and did it anyways. So Trump created this commission to bolster his false allegation that 3 million illegal votes were cast in the 2016 election, virtually all of them for Hillary Clinton. He selected Kobach, a Republican, to head the commission because, in his current capacity as Kansas Secretary of State, Kobach led an outwardly nativist campaign to prosecute non-citizen voters. He claimed that 18,000 aliens had registered to vote in Kansas, but he failed to provide any proof. He had no proof of it. He just said it. Kobach promptly appointed the country's top voter fraud alarmists to the commission, as well as a handful of token Democrats for a bipartisan patina, to make it look like it's bipartisan. But the whole thing was set up under false pretenses. They have no evidence of voter fraud. Trump had no evidence of voter fraud. He selected a guy from Kansas who was Secretary of State, who also had no evidence of voter fraud, but said voter fraud, to lead the commission. All right. Yet, Kobach bungled this opportunity from the start. At an early meeting with Trump, Kobach inadvertently revealed a document he had prepared stating his ultimate goal: to gut the National Voter Registration Act and allow states to demand proof of citizenship for all new voters. Okay, so this has already happened to a lesser extent under Supreme Court Justice John Roberts. John Roberts already gutted the Voting Rights Act by saying states who had a history of voter suppression no longer had to ask the federal government to change their voting laws. They could go ahead and do whatever they want. So that meant states that did voter suppression in the past, and they couldn't do it anymore because of this law. John Roberts said, "Oh, go ahead and we're not going to look anymore." Basically, he said, a metaphor would be like, "Oh, the cars won't start. The car won't start. Oh, let's put in a new battery. Oh, look, the car's starting. It works great now. The car's starting." Then John Roberts comes in and says, "Oh, okay. Well, now that the car's starting, I guess we don't need the battery anymore. We can take the battery out." So what do you think happened when John Roberts took away gutted the Voting Rights Act? What happened? The very next day, all the former Confederate states implemented new restrictions to voting to stop people from voting. So yeah, that happened. That really happened. That actually happened. So now Kobach that's his goal, is to stop people from voting. He wants to. That's his goal. Stop people from voting. So, and the way he wants to stop people is to put more and more hurdles in the way. Because what kind of people are going to be demanded proof of citizenship? Like minorities. They're the ones who have this extra burden to have to overcome. Alright, so Kobach also wrote an email made public during litigation, confirming this objective. In June, he sent an alarming message to all 50 states asking for a massive amount of voter roll data. 44 out of 50 states refused to provide all or some of the requested information. Mississippi's Republican Secretary of State told the commission to go jump in the Lake of Mexico. Even Kobach could not turn over some of the Kansas voter data that he had requested on himself. He couldn't even do it. So that's weird. So his goal was to stop people from voting. He requested a massive amount of voter roll data from all 50 states. And most of the states said, "No, forget you. It got worse from there. At the commission's first public meeting, Kobach unspooled a series of easily disproven lies about rampant voter fraud that seemed to embarrass several Democratic commissioners. Then, shortly before the commissioner's second public meeting, Kobach published a Breitbart column insisting he had proof that thousands of people voted illegally in New Hampshire. That claim, too, was quickly debunked, leading several commissioners to criticize Kobach at the meeting. Now, wait a minute. I forgot to check that out. Breitbart. He used Breitbart as a source. Breitbart media bias. Let me check this out. So he used Breitbart to prove that there's voter fraud. Save. Refresh. Breitbart is a bunch of crap. It's extreme right-wing bias. It has mixed to, mostly like mixed news. It's a bunch of lies. Oh, wait, not this one. It doesn't tell you the full story. A questionable source exhibits one or more of the following: extreme bias, consistent promotion of propaganda conspiracies, poor or no sources to credible information, a complete lack of transparency, and or is fake news. Fake news is a deliberate attempt to publish hoaxes and/or disinformation for the purpose of profit or influence. So, overall, we rate Breitbart questionable based on extreme right-wing bias, publication of conspiracy theories, and propaganda, as well as numerous false claims. So, this commissioner, voter fraud commissioner, Kobach, tried to use Breitbart to say there was voter fraud, but Breitbart's full of crap. He couldn't get anyone else to corroborate this story. There was no corroboration. There was no corroboration. 3, 4, 5. So, oh wait, that went too far. Where's the? Three, 4. Yeah, so he got criticized for using a lame media, or a bad media source. So he got sued. Right? He got sued because the one token Democrat on the committee, he wasn't getting any of this information. Kobach was doing his own thing and not sharing it with the rest of the committee. So the guy sued him, said, "Hey, I want to see this, where you're getting all this information, because I think it's full of crap." So, and the court said, "Yeah, okay, Kobach, you have to share it with the fellow commissioner." Rather than comply with the court order, Kobach decided to disband the commission altogether with little advance warning to his colleagues. A White House official told CNN that the commission could not operate as intended while comporting with FACA. That remarkable admission, as it simply means that the leader of the commission, that's a remarkable admission, as it simply means that the leaders of the commission could not find a way to do its work without keeping unlawful partisan secrets. According to Politico, other White House officials blamed the whole affair on Trump's former strategist, Steve Bannon. One official called the commission a blundered Bannon rollout. Yeah, whatever. So the idea is that they couldn't find any proof. They relied on bad information to spread a conspiracy in order to gut the Voting Rights Act. Like, it's a conspiracy, but even worse, which came in the beginning. He was trying to get voter information from all 50 states. He wanted to concentrate it into one group and then give it to Donald Trump. But wait a minute, Donald Trump is working with the Russians, and we know that the Russians hacked a bunch of voter registration already. The Russians would love to have all this information to be better at hacking. So Donald Trump is trying to get a bunch of voter information to give to Russia, so Russia could better help Trump steal the next election. Wow. I mean, Paul Manafort gave a bunch of voter information to the Russians, and he was in prison till he got out. But yeah, that's the real story going on. Oh man, there's so much here. Roger Stone. Yeah, I need to take a break. Like, this is a lot of... I'm sure you need to take a break too. So, let me go play some Minecraft a bit. Whoa, Minecraft. So look at here. We're in the swamp. I found this swamp a long time ago when I was just looking for slimes, and I made a really cheesy house. Like, it's tiny. It's a tiny house because I made it to go look for slimes. I have a bunch of crap here, but yeah, I came here on a boat when I first got here. And yeah, look at that nice coral reef over there. And I wandered through here in the dark, looking for slimes. And that's when I found the witch hut. But I didn't make a farm until much later because I thought you had to make a huge perimeter. So yeah, it's a nice farm, but then the swamp is right next to a big forest, and yeah. We can do this. Nope. Oh, turn off the trident killer. Through the nether. Yeah, this place. Whew. Oh. Escaped. All right. Let's go to the farms. Yeah, I made a window to the west so you can see the sun setting. Like, I can hang out back here and watch the sunset. It's kind of nice. Okay, what's the next thing I want to talk about? Oh, it's still up. What's going on? It should be gone, dude. Okay, there. But now I have to bring something else up I wanted to show. Okay. Another thing that people talk about is this idea of defund the police. And that scares a lot of people. They think, oh my god, defund the police, what does that even mean? And again, the disinformation, there's people out there whose whole idea is to spread disinformation. So that people come to bad conclusions. So people hear defund the police, and one side is whispering lies. The other side, well here, what does the other side say? Well here, let's listen. Let me pause this music. This is Yusuf Abdul Kadir, who spoke to the mayor of Syracuse, New York, and he explains it really good.
What percent of the police live in the city?
About 5% or so.
5%, so 95% don't live in the city.
Yes, sir.
So when you say that the vast majority of the percentage goes towards salaries, etc.,
yes, sir,
fringe benefits, that means that they take their money on 81, go to outside the city, pay taxes in those communities that have some of the best schools while we have an underfunded school district.
$60 million up.
So I just want to put into context what we're talking about, because it's really easy to say, Mayor, and with all due respect, I like you, but that was a very politician answer.
Sorry, what specifically?
We will consider and we will look. What we're saying is we're not interested in considering and looking. What we're saying is actually there's 50 million, commit to 20 million cut.
Right.
Because we're sending money as the mayor of Syracuse. When you don't have a tax base, you're sending money out of Syracuse, and not just for 30 years, for the rest of their life. Because their pensions, their health insurance, their families. So we are funding for other people's communities to have the promise of the American dream while we are denying it in our community. That's the context that you as the mayor have to look at this under. So when we talk about renegotiating union contract, what we're saying is you can't play around with maybe no, y'all gotta go because you don't provide a service that is beneficial to the community, that is meaningful to the community. The services that you provide criminalize our community, impoverish our community, reallocate resources to suburbs. We are actually funding the suburbs, both in our police departments and in our schools. And to be clear, it's not just the fact of like the percentage of people. We're also funding what race of people on the police force. The percentage of race of teachers as well, superintendent, board president. So we want to put in context because it's not just a class issue, it's a race issue. We're telling black and brown people and poor people, you don't matter. The devil's in the data and in the details. Mayor, respectfully, it is not acceptable for us to be here considering.
Right? Like, how are you going to argue with that? Makes sense. The schools are turned into a school to prison pipeline. You criminalize minority people from high school, from inside school, so that they're put into the system, and then you keep them there. Where are the prisons located? I mean, not only are like a lot of times prisons are in rural places. I mean, I guess Salem, we have a bunch of prisons in Salem, but we're like the state capital. But I remember seeing a prison in Tehachapi, California. Man, there's nothing in Tehachapi, California. There's nothing except for the prison. And I guess there was a concrete factory there. But that's it. That's the only thing in Tehachapi, California. So you have to pay, taxpayers are paying for police to be in schools to criminalize kids, so that when they, as soon as they can, they're criminalized as adults, and by the police that the cities pay for. Then the taxpayers pay to house them in prisons in rural districts. Like, all that money is flowing out of the community and into non-productive activities. Prisons don't produce anything. Like, law enforcement doesn't produce anything. Doesn't labor to make anything. Like, they enforce peace. But peace is not the absence of violence, it is the presence of justice. So they're not even enforcing peace, they're enforcing order. They're not really concerned. The police force is not really concerned with justice, it's concerned with order. They don't care what's just, they just want order. So if that order is being bought at the expense of justice, like, it's not necessarily good. If order is more important than justice, then that order deserves to be disrupted. In fact, you have to. You're obligated. You're obliged to disrupt the order if that order is serving injustice. You're obliged as a moral human. You can't just go along with it if it's unjust, just to maintain order. Okay, okay, let me give you an example. I want to go back to disinformation. Okay, so this is an example of disinformation. I don't even know if the Shannon person's a real person. But look at the disinformation here. So when there's a highly contagious disease outbreak, I call BS. Just trying to scare people to stay inside. Right? When black people protest by being murdered by cops, they said get in the house, effing listen. You see how these two perspectives are totally wrong? Like this person says, listen to order. You know, injustice doesn't matter. Listen to order. And over here they say, scientific truth doesn't matter. Follow order, or like disrupt the order because of lies. All right, the next one. People are free to stay home for their own safety, but should never be forced to by the state. And yet, on the other side, for when black people are protesting injustice, after the residents refuse to follow orders to get inside, you get shot. Play stupid games. So it's okay for people to disrupt or to not listen to wearing masks and social distancing, but it's not okay for black people to disrupt order. So this guy says, the tyrannical governor is keeping us locked down hostages for 2 more years. Wake up, Pennsylvania. So he says, no, we won't listen to quarantine. No. But when people go out to protest, he says, oh, you should be inside. You should listen to the government. And then over here, it should be a personal choice. If you choose to wear one mask, power to you. If you choose not to one, it's your right. None of the government's business. The reason why people wear masks is to protect other people. And they're saying you don't have to protect other people. And then, but the opposite, oh, if the government says go inside, you should go inside. So like, all of these are like bad conclusions based on bad information. Like, you see how it messes with people's brains. Let's look at this. Oh. Damn it. Oh, I did it again. Oh, like this. Remember what it means to not wear a mask. Right? It's not about personal freedoms or nonsense like that. These are people, these are all nurses and doctors who have died to coronavirus. They were doing their job, trying to help people out. Every one of these is a picture of a person who died. Nurses and doctors and medical people who died trying to help other people who got sick. And because they got sick with coronavirus, they caught coronavirus and they died too. So when you say don't wear a mask, you're putting these people at risk. These people who are giving their lives to help you when you get sick. They're just trying to do their job. And if you spread a virus, you're going to put their lives at risk. It's not just about you. Man, did I go over the voter fraud? I did. Roger Stone. Man, Roger Stone. He got his sentence commuted by this one too. His sentence was commuted by Donald Trump, which means even though he committed crimes, he doesn't have to go to prison anymore. Well, what did he do? What did Roger Stone do? I talked to someone, they don't even know who Roger Stone is. Let me find Stone. In friend review. Okay. So this tweet by David French goes over this stuff. First, Stone was deemed the Trump campaign's access to WikiLeaks, which possessed stolen Democratic information from Russia hacks. So remember, beginning in spring 2016, Stone told senior Trump campaign officials that he had inside knowledge regarding WikiLeaks plans and that he communicated with Julian Assange. Stone made these claims throughout the summer to Deputy Campaign Chairman Rick Gates, Campaign Chairman Paul Manafort, and Campaign CEO Steve Bannon. These men believed his claims, and they sought information from Stone about what WikiLeaks would do to help the Trump campaign. Moreover, as summer wore on, the senior leadership found Stone's predictions to be reliable. Manafort instructed Gates to keep in touch with Stone regarding WikiLeaks so that he could keep then-candidate Trump updated on Stone's information. And the senior level of the Trump campaign began brainstorming a press strategy based in part on Stone's prediction of a WikiLeaks release of documents that would damage the Clinton campaign. In other words, Russia stole the Clinton campaign documents and emails. They then gave this information to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks coordinated with the Trump campaign through Stone to find the right time to dump these documents. One time was when Trump's Access Hollywood tapes came out. The Access Hollywood tapes are the ones where Trump says, grab him by the pussy. And like, when you're a star, you can do anything. That's like terrible. Trump is a womanizer. He doesn't respect women at all. And as soon as that was released, Stone told WikiLeaks to release the emails, and the story about Access Hollywood tapes, about the bad story about Trump, was covered up by the new information released by WikiLeaks about Podesta emails, the Clinton campaign. In order to hide Trump's scandal, they coordinated to help Trump win the election. So Stone, through WikiLeaks, worked with Russia to steal the 2016 elections. And Stone worked with the knowledge of all the Trump campaign officials who had to tell Trump. Trump knew too. That's why Stone went to prison. So according to U.S. intelligence assessments, Russian officials handpicked WikiLeaks to serve as a conduit for public discourse of hacked information. Julian Assange had a long relationship with Russian entities. What do you mean he had a long relationship? Dude, I'm going the wrong way. So, we assess with high confidence that the GRU relayed information. The GRU is the Russian CIA. The GRU relayed material it acquired from the DNC and senior Democratic officials to WikiLeaks. Moscow most likely chose WikiLeaks because of its self-proclaimed reputation for authenticity. Disclosures through WikiLeaks did not contain any evident forgeries. So, in early September, Putin said publicly it was important the DNC data was exposed to WikiLeaks, calling the search for the source of the leaks a distraction and denying Russian state-level involvement. So Russia was involved, but they lied about it. Putin lied about it. The Kremlin's principal international propaganda outlet, Russia Today, has collaborated with WikiLeaks. Russia Today's editor-in-chief visited WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy in London in August 2013, where they discussed renewing his broadcast contract with Russia Today, according to Russian Western media. Russian media subsequently announced that Russia Today had become the only Russian media company to partner with WikiLeaks and had received access to new leaks of secret information. Russia Today routinely gives Assange sympathetic coverage and provides him with a platform to denounce the United States. So remember, this is information warfare, and WikiLeaks was a Russian front to attack the United States. that Roger Stone worked with and the Trump campaign worked with. There we go. 3. Okay. There is evidence that Trump was in contact with Roger Stone during Stone's outreach to WikiLeaks, and that Trump instructed Paul Manafort to stay in touch with Stone. So, from the report, around this time, Deputy Campaign Chairman Gates continued to have conversations with Stone about more information that would be coming out from WikiLeaks. Gates was also present for a phone call between Stone and Trump. While Gates couldn't hear the content of the call, he could hear Stone's voice on the phone and see his name on the caller ID. 30 seconds after hanging up the phone with Stone, then candidate Trump told Gates that there would be more information coming. Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, also stated that he was present for a phone call between Trump and Stone, where Stone told Trump that he had just gotten off the phone with Julian Assange, and in a couple of days, WikiLeaks would release information. And Trump responded, "Oh, good, all right." Paul Manafort also stated that he spoke with Trump about Stone's predictions and his claimed access to WikiLeaks, and that Trump instructed Manafort to stay in touch with Stone. So there's Trump, Russia, WikiLeaks are all connected. They all work together to steal the 2016 elections. And Roger Stone was part of this conspiracy. And Donald Trump commuted the sentence of Roger Stone because Roger Stone wouldn't talk to Robert Mueller. In his written statements, responses to Special Counsel's office, Robert Mueller, Trump had some rather convenient memory lapses regarding his communication with Stone. So, in his written answers to the Special Counsel's office, President Trump denied remembering anything about his conversations with Stone during the summer of 2016, and he denied being aware that Stone had discussed WikiLeaks with anyone associated with the campaign. 1 week after submitting his written answers, President Trump criticized flipping witnesses and stated that Stone was very brave, indicating he would not cooperate with his prosecutors. So, in exchange for Stone not cooperating with prosecutors, Donald Trump gave Stone a pardon. He commuted his sentence. The Special Counsel's report stated that President's statements complimenting Stone's support the inference that President Trump intended to communicate a message that witnesses could be rewarded for refusing to provide testimony adverse to the president. So President Trump was telling everyone, if you don't flip on me, I'll commute your sentence. Stone then lied repeatedly to the then GOP-led House Permanent Select Committee intelligence. One wonders if the remaining GOP members of the committee will express outrage at the commutation of a man who lied to their faces. The lies were brazen. First, Stone claimed Congress he didn't have anything in writing that related to Julian Assange. No texts, no emails, documents, or anything. In fact, he had hundreds of such communications. Next, Stone lied to Congress about his intermediary to WikiLeaks, insisting that his public relations statements in August 2016 about an intermediary to Assange referred to Randy Credico, named Jeremy Corsi, never naming Jerome Corsi, who had told him in August about the game hackers were about, and that they planned more dumps, including in October. Stone refused to further testified that he had nothing in writing with his intermediary, and that his intermediary was not an email guy, when Stone actually had hundreds of messages with both Corsi and Credico. Credico? Yeah. So, and the lies had consequences. Here's Judge Jackson's assessment from the sentencing hearing. Mr. Stone lied, and he said he had no documents, no emails, no texts with his claimed intermediary with Julian Assange. No emails or texts with people associated with the campaign concerning his contacts with WikiLeaks. So the committee did not issue a subpoena for the trove of material Stone had in his possession and lost the opportunity to consider them and to delve further. They spent considerable resources and they wasted them going after Credico as the supposed intermediary. They lost the benefit of his testimony when he acceded to pressure from Stone not to testify. And they didn't hear from Corsi, who wasn't identified by Stone at all. This obstruction led the committee to reach incorrect conclusions about the lack of evidence that would contradict Stone's claims. So Stone lied that he was in touch with WikiLeaks, and by lying, he protected all these other people. So this guy who kept the conspiracy hidden was just pardoned, or virtually pardoned, by Trump, who is part of the conspiracy too. So like, there's major stuff going on. This is a miscarriage of justice. And if we're a nation that, that believes in truth and justice, this is a travesty of justice. This is a breaking of our criminal justice system by Donald Trump. Man, I'm going off. Like, I'm reading a lot. What else do I have on here? Stone. Dude, I have so much stuff, but I'm like tired of reading. I don't know what to talk about. Like, Donald Trump is a traitor. Black Lives Matter. There's no voter fraud. Vote by mail is safe and effective and great. I could read you a poem, I guess. Alright, let me read you a poem. I gotta find one. I haven't written in a long time. Man, I don't even know what to read to you. I go from a book. Go from salvage. Salvage. I should read from the book that's on. That's on the internet. Or for sale, or whatever. Which one should I read? Okay, let's do this one. The final insight. It was unseemly times. The times seemed deliriously dreamy. I can see the streams of fate forming patterns that, when seen with the third eye, are torn between angel and demon. It's in the deafening mind silence where Zen beings drink tea, swirling infinitely as one drop of cream breaks the tea's black surface abyss with the explosion of complexity. Twist darkness to light and see what patterns exist, unseen by the naked eye except through conflict. We are what we permit to be visited upon us. I can resist no longer. To ponder existence is to be born again and wonder why it was I started the trip. Which steps I can't miss. Are you recording this? Lyrical, bloodletting ritual. Witness the setting and recreate the environment. Grow poetry from the culture it's in. Vitamins and nutrients. Ganja stems are spurious. My soul is furious. The lyrical Odysseus. Come home to kick ass and bear witness to all that I have seen on my journey. Listen. I'll tell you later. Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to tell you. I think I'd said this poem before. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm trying. I get lightheaded from reading so much stuff. So come talk to me. Like, I can be more focused in my speech. I don't know what you don't know. So whatever. Yeah. Hey, thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the flip side. Until then, America, you're beautiful. See you next time. Peace! Stop streaming. Where'd it go?